Welcome back to The Conscious Resistance. You're listening to Orion Talk Radio. My name is Derek Bros. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. We're getting ready to start the second hour of the show, and I am very pleased to bring to you guys Mr. Jason Bermas and Shepard Ambellas of the Intel Hub, both documentary filmmakers, here to talk about their latest project, Shade, the motion picture. How you guys doing?
Awesome, man. It's great to be on the show.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to talk with you guys again. And it's been a few months. It's been probably over a year since I talked with you, Jason. And I talked with you last, Shep, out at Bilderberg. Mm-hmm. And that's when we were first getting going, talking about Shade and what you guys are working on. So update us. We're getting ready for the film to come out. How did everything turn out, and what do you have in store for us?
Oh, I'll let Jason take that one. He's still hard away working at it.
It's coming together very well. I'm really impressed with it. It's my first film that I've done without a voiceover or a script per se, but a basic idea, and really trying to bounce people off one another at a pace where, the camera, I decided that I was going to use a jump cut style that if anybody out there has seen Inside Job, the documentary about the false banking collapse and the basically economic meltdown of the general populace and concentration of wealth into the power elite, even more so. It used a really nice jump cut style. I was a little hesitant at first, a little woeful, because the guy didn't use a lot of graphics, and I've always been kind of weary of watching interviews where it's so cut up. But with the personalities that I was using and the way that I was cutting it up, I wasn't doing anything morally wrong. I wasn't trying to change what they were saying. I'm taking the ums and the long-winded, explanations out, and I'm giving the base information. And from what I've shown to other people, they're really digging it. It's got more of that internet feel. Everybody loves these really crappy internet videos where someone talks at the camera and the camera just keeps jumping and cutting, and it's one idea to the next. And I thought, well, let's try a movie like that. Let's see if we can pace a film. And so far, it's worked beautifully. I would say the first third of the film is as laid down as it's going to be without the audio being done over by a professional that we're going to have loop around. Right now, I'm working on taking our geoengineering section, which is basically edited up into different segments, such as the Rosalind Peterson interview, the Skull interview, the Michael Murphy interview. Obviously, Bob Tuskin's going to have a lot to say in that section. His interview also cut up. And then, of course, Shepard's trip to the Mojave Desert, where he actually interviewed people that were suffering from barium and strontium poisoning, which would probably have a direct correlation with the phenomenon known as chemtrails, or what Rosalind Peterson likes to call it, prolonged jet contrails. So, with all that, and then the next third of the film really being about the people at the top that are talking about depopulating the planet, what's in our water, what's in our food, what's in our vaccines, and people like Anthony Gucciardi really helped us with that section. Chris Gio and his wife also did a great interview. The more I look at that interview that I cut up, the more I can see them being used a lot in the last third of the film. But you're seeing these people in the first third as well. And basically, this is a film that's going to reach out to the non-choir. I'm not looking for a film that the choir's like, wow, this is great, I'm so happy this is put out, and good job. I'm looking for a film that people that have no idea about this information are like, oh my God. I mean, when I show this to people, the first thing that they're asking me, I don't want too many spoilers, but we got about a three-minute run-up before we put the title card of the film on there. And all of them are starting to look at me and like, what meeting is this? Who are these people? And I'm like, just watch the film. And I'm like, I want to see if you can follow it, And in that first 3 minutes, obviously, their heads are spinning. They're hearing the words Bilderberg. They're hearing the words Henry Kissinger. You got people like Luke Rudowski, Dan Dix, Alex Jones, Shepard Ambellas, myself, explaining what's going on, a crowd of people confronting these power elite. And, the very first question title card is, what is the Bilderberg Group? And from there, You really see the eyes start to widen. I've screened this to about 6 of my friends that, again, really have no idea about this information. I didn't meet them through political circles. Some of them still haven't even seen Loose Change. Many of them are not 9/11 truthers per se. So to show it to these people and, basically the first third of the film and, have them going, I can't wait to see the next part, and I can't wait to see what this looks like finished. He's like, I've seen some of your other stuff, and this just looks so much more professional. And I sent it over to one of the guys that I've edited a couple films with over at InfoWars, Rob Jacobson, and he was extremely impressed with not only the camera shots. I'm telling you, those DSLRs look beautiful, but also the graphics. I really pride myself on being able to take graphics and do a better job than the History Channel.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Let me say, I myself have been, reviewing the footage that we have compiled so far. Jason's been hard working at editing, and man, he has really taken this to a whole new level. When I first thought, hey, I want to make a documentary film, and I had the concept for Shade, and I really wanted to do this. And we went out and started putting all the interviews together, and we were talking about how this thing might go. I never in a million years thought Jason Bermas would be making all these super custom graphics, for the film. And it is just impressive. It's visually stunning, and I'm super excited about the whole project myself as well. But I just want everyone to know, the hard work that we've all put into it, but Jason especially.
Yeah, I'm really excited about seeing it because I appreciate everything that you've done already, Jason, when it comes to filmmaking and everything that you do through the Intel Hub, Shep. And, you mentioned Loose Change, and some of the listeners may have seen also Invisible Empire from you, Jason. What differentiates this film, Shade, from previous works that you've done where you kind of go into the New World Order and the agenda of the Bilderberg? How does this one differ from those?
I think that a lot, again, because I'm not trying to make a film for people. When I made Invisible Empire, I really wanted to dispel the myth that a quote-unquote New World Order doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form. It obviously does, at least in the mindset of a lot of these people, at least in the goal set of a lot of these people. So that film is really almost an encyclopedia of knowledge on the quote-unquote New World Order. Well, I got news for you, Derek. You're not even going to hear the term New World Order in this film. You're not going to hear the term Illuminati. We're not going to talk about chemtrails. I make it pretty clear in the very, in the disclaimer in the film. We used what a lot of people are going to consider polarizing figures in this film. A lot of people don't like Anthony Hilder. A lot of people don't like Alex Jones. A lot of people don't like Jordan Maxwell. A lot of people have beef with this person or that person. And, Rosalind Peterson obviously does not subscribe to a lot of the things that are presented by the three personalities that I just mentioned. However, I'm making this film to show, hey, there's a power elite. It's, the Bilderberg Group is obviously a big part of that. If you look at the numbers alone, the fact that you only have 25 core members and they're recruiting 100 to about 115 other people from their little circles of power that I think I expose heavily in Invisible Empire at this meeting. This is the meeting. This is the one that we need to focus on. All these other naysayers that want to bring up all these, he doesn't want to talk about the Vatican. He doesn't want to talk about the Zionists. He doesn't want to talk about the Council on National Policy. That's bull. I talk about all of those things and the people surrounding them in bursts. But the bottom line is this is the cream of the crop right here. If you want, let's talk Zionists. Obviously this year, there probably isn't a bigger, if you want to talk about real Zionism, family than the Rothschilds. And one of the big breaking news that came out of Bilderberg just as it happened, and representatives from both parties were there, was the more merging of the Rockefeller and Rothschild dynasties in the realm of banking. That's huge news. So again, we're really just trying to put out a film that's like, hey, this is here. Let's not do a 2-hour film. Let's do, I'm trying to make this between, 80 and 90 minutes. If it hits like 75, that could be key too. And I don't want people to be worn out. I want to be able to have people give this a watch all the way through, really kind of by the seat of their pants and not get really, we don't have to get into the nitty gritty of every little minute detail. I did a lot of that in Invisible Empire. And that's why I think that this film is going to be a really good film to hopefully bring more people in. And if they want to learn more, I can just basically tell them, hey, check out Invisible Empire.
Definitely. We're going to take a quick break, Jason. We'll be right back with Jason Bermas and Shepard Ambellas of the Intel Hub talking shit. You're listening to Orion Talk Radio, and we are continuing the conversation with Jason Bermas and Shepard Ambellas. We were just discussing their new upcoming documentary, Shade, the motion picture. And I wanted to finish that conversation before we move on to some other hot topics, guys. I know that there is a section, I guess the last part of the film, that focuses on solutions. I want to hear more about that.
Well, absolutely. Why give all this information out, especially as, popping as it is? We're trying to pop off, boom, 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 boom. We're really not trying to scare anybody. But I got to tell you, a lot of the reactions of my friends off the bat, again, that didn't know about this stuff are just like wide-eyed, and they're like, I can't believe these people actually exist. Again, they all think it's like a goof in a movie or something you hear about in a science fiction story. So one of the things we really tried to focus in on with every single interview that we conducted was, what can we do about it? What's your angle on it? And a lot of people gave a lot of different things. Obviously, when you go to Bilderberg and you talk to a guy like Luke Rudkowski, he's going to tell you to become the media, to go out into the street. It's something I've done. It's something I've encouraged. It's something that Luke has really made me proud. And I've known Luke now, it's got to be 10 years. It's got to be 10 years. I met him in either late 2001 or early 2002. And the amazing things he's done over the last decade of persistence, and it's not easy. It's not like the guy's making a bunch of money. I know there's all these, internet rumors out there. I could tell you right now, I've been around Luke Rudkowski. I've been in the places Luke Rudkowski's lived. Luke Rudkowski's not robbing anybody. He's not living the high life. He's not an agent. He's a dedicated individual that's out there on the ground, making solutions. He's asking tough questions. He's putting his confrontations out on the web that are getting the eyes of not only tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, but millions of people, especially when celebrities get behind him. And he's gotten some pretty big celebrities to look at his work, retweet his work, promote his work. That doesn't mean he gets a check for it. That means that we get more of an eye towards this information, and hopefully we can make more solutions. So what are the other solutions out there? Well, obviously, Cherie and Chris Gio are going to talk about not vaccinating, becoming more self-sustainable, living a healthier lifestyle. Deciding that you're not going to eat the foods that are going to cause the cancer that are going to eviscerate your bank account down the line. When we talked to Jordan Maxwell, he had a different approach. I don't want to ruin all the movie, but everybody had a really interesting approach to basically having solutions. Obviously, Tuscan is all about his solutions, self-sustainability, local communities, barter trade, things like that. But, Jordan Maxwell talked about undermining the system. He's like, I don't see much of an advantage in face-to-face confronting the system. Obviously, that's what more of an Alex Jones style is. Face-to-face confronting the system, has a bullhorn. The answer to 1984 is 1776, but Maxwell's approach is quite different. And I think that if we take from each one of these individuals' approaches, look at a lady like Rosalind Peterson. Well, what's the solution? She's going down to her city council. She's talking to her mayors. She's making videos. She has a website. She's making people aware that geoengineering is occurring, and these people in their own documents are admitting that it's doing little to nothing, and sometimes actually having a reverse effect on the phenomenon that they want to call global warming. So it's really interesting. And, although obviously a lot of people have probably heard a lot of this stuff before, many people out there have not. And the last part of the film is, look, I'm not laying down and dying. I don't care that Ted Turner says that he wants a population of 2 billion people. Well, that motivates me to get up and say, how dare you? And it's not going to be my dead body. I can promise you that. And you know what? I think this earth can support 30 billion people. What do you think about that? If we actually had self-sustainability, if we used some of the technology, I'm not going to get on here and be like, oh, I love Zeitgeist, but when you talk about technology where you can literally build skyscraper farming systems and tree farms for oxygen, when we could build giant wind and solar panels out in the desert and harvest that energy, when all this is possible to empower humanity, we could populate this earth, possibly 10 times over. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but, we ran into that, Jason. Remember, we were talking about, the Kissinger NSSM 200 document that he wrote back in the day. And I was mentioning, maybe the Earth is kind of overpopulated, or it could become, in the near future. And we were looking through this document, and the globalists themselves have defined that the Earth could potentially sustain hundreds of millions. I think it was 140 million, billion. A rather large number. A lot bigger than 10, like Jason said, tenfold or something, and it appears that they know this, but yet they're selling us with the idea that the Earth can't really sustain anyone, and it doesn't need to sustain anyone. Therefore, they want this more easily manageable population, and it's it just plays right into their agenda. But it was interesting to see that in their own documents. Kissinger even pointed out the Earth could potentially sustain 140 billion.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're continuing to use their own documents against them, because that's usually our strongest evidence when it comes to providing this to, as Jason said, people who are completely new to this information. We have to provide them with documentation and lead them to the way, and then hopefully lead that towards empowering them to solutions. Because I know here in Houston, and with what we're doing here, and just sort of taking a litmus test with activists around the country and around the world, really, that we've been talking to, everybody seems to be moving more and more in the direction of focusing on solutions and sustainability this year. And I'm glad to see that continue with y'all's film. Anything else you want to say on the film before we cut to a break? And when we come back, I want to bring you guys on and talk a little bit about Sandy Hook. But any other remarks?
Everyone can check out the new trailer number 3 at shadethemotionpicture.com. You can check it out for yourself. The personalities that are in it and the quality of the film in general is just, to me, visually stunning, and I hope everyone enjoys it. Check it out, shadethemotionpicture.com.
Definitely. Jason, anything else you'd like to add?
I'm just trying to do a better job each time I make these films, and I really hope, and the more it looks like to me, I really hope that this thing sets the bar for the next generation of documentary films out there.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so as well, man. You guys are going to do the good work, and we're all doing this in a number of ways, whether it's activists on the street, or it's people talking about solutions, or those who are doing radio programs or film work. We recognize that this is a battle that is going to continue into 2013 and beyond, and if we want it to be sustainable, we need to reach more people, and we do that by putting films out like you guys work and trying to reach the masses. So thank you guys for doing that.